Hi, it's Clark Mortensen from Mort'sSportsCorner on Vintage Radio 105.5, sponsored by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Join us every Saturday from 10 to noon for one-on-one interviews and sports ranging from T-ball to the big leagues. All right, we're back. It's Mort'sSportsCorner, brought to you by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Go to illowa.fca.org and check out Dan Pearson's videos. It's a wonderful job that he's doing down there, and I can't be happier to have him as our sponsor and have the LOFCA as a sponsor. But make sure you check it out. Fellowship of Christian Athletes. It's the heart and soul of sports. We have a great show today. I've blessed to have some great guests on, but today we have couple of pro sports in the Quad City area. We had Paul Scranton earlier, chairman for the John Deere Classic, and we have Andrew Chester, who is the general manager of the Quad City River Bandits. How are we doing, Andrew?
I'm good. This is a lot of pressure, I feel. I got a lot, following up Paul. That's going to be a tough one here. The Classic is right around the corner. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have, the Quad City area to have the two pro sports like we do, and then you throw in the Mallards, and then some surrounding. We won't mention your competitors, but there's some surrounding Midwest League teams that we're pretty blessed to have some good talented pro sports around here.
Absolutely, they all do a great job. So it's interesting. I moved here 5 years ago from Virginia, and to have so many minor league sports teams so close, it really is unique. When I first thought of Iowa, I kind of, didn't really realize that it was so condensed. You think of it, the Midwest is just kind of this wide out space place, but, Cedar Rapids, just in our league alone, Cedar Rapids is, so close by. Burlington, Clinton, Peoria, Illinois. We even have Beloit, Wisconsin, and King County, which is right up in St. Charles, Illinois. So we've got so many teams so close by to us. It's pretty unique. But they all do a great job, and they all do a great job of promoting minor league baseball.
And the Bandits this year, they're not doing, they're not in first place, but they're definitely in the hunt.
We're getting there. It's been an interesting season. Last year, our team was led, we were Astros affiliate again last year. It was led by a guy named Josh Bonifay. He won Manager of the Year in the Midwest League. We had the best record in all of minor league baseball over the course of the season. So we really kind of had high expectations going into this year. But, the first half of the season was pretty rough. We struggled. But one of the really cool things, and one of the things I love about minor league baseball is because players are moved up and down so much, because there's so many transactions, they actually play two halves in the season. So basically, at the end of the first half, which is right around the middle of June, the All-Star game, the boards are wiped clean and everybody starts over again. And, at that point, the teams that clinch the playoffs in the first half basically have a bye the entire second half, and then everybody gets to fight for it again in the second half. And we've been, we've basically turned it around. It's almost been a 180 from where we were the first half of the season. We're right in the hunt, I think, for second place in the playoff in our division right now, which would get us into the playoffs. So hopefully the team can keep it up. We've won. I think if we win tonight, we'll be 3 in a row. We've won, I want to say, 6 or 7 of our last 9 or 10. So it's been a good little stretch of games, and we're excited for the playoffs to get here.
And if you want to see them win their third game in a row, which we're pretty confident they're gonna, head out tonight to the ballpark. And tonight, what do you have tonight?
We got a lot going on. It's a good Saturday. One of the things we're really excited about and we're really proud of is the history of the ballpark, the tradition of the ballpark. So we really like to kind of feature a lot of our alumni, a lot of our former players. But we're doing a Joe Madden bobblehead giveaway. And Joe Madden, he's the current manager of the Chicago Cubs, actually played here during his playing career with the Quad City Angels. I believe in 77, 78, 79, somewhere around in there. I'm sure I've got people yelling at the radio going, that are more history buffs than I am. But he played here as a catcher. So we're kind of memorializing what, his tenure here in the Quad Cities, what he's done in his career. We're giving that away. I think we have 1,500 of them to the first 1,500 people that come through the gates. They'll get in line. Our bobblehead giveaways it's always fun. I bet there's people waiting in line outside the ballpark right now. It's a 6 o'clock game. The gates don't open until 5 o'clock. But typically we'll have people, when I get into the ballpark at 9 or 10 in the morning, waiting outside the gates, just wanting to be that first, second, third, or fourth person in through. So we've got great fans. It's a lot of fun. But definitely come on out, grab a bobblehead, and get there early if you want one.
Well, get there early for a bobblehead, but also get there early because the last probably I don't know, 20, 30 games I've been to, it's been maybe not capacity, but if not capacity, really close to capacity crowd. You've had some real good crowds the last, many years. Actually.
Yep. It's been great. Our current ownership group purchased the team in 2008, and it's just been a steady climb in attendance ever since then. Last year, when we finished the season, we were just over 250,000 fans, which is, again, a testament to how great the community is, how great they support us. I mean, we're so grateful that they're, all these fans want to come out. We do our best to try and give them a great show every night. It's interesting. One of the things people don't really ever, put two and two together on for our job from the front office is that, we have no control over the players. We very well may lose every game 35-0, depending on who we get from the Astros or who we get from our Major League affiliate. We never know how the team is going to be. So that's why we work so hard to have so many auxiliary things at the ballpark, whether it's the crazy on-field games between innings or the Ferris wheel or the bounce houses or, inexpensive, hot dogs or anything along those lines. We really, as an office and as a staff, we always say if the fans leave the game knowing the score, we failed to do our jobs, which most people usually are shocked about because, they think it's baseball. But we understand, I love baseball. Obviously, this is my 12th year working in baseball. I watch 100 and minimum 160, 170 baseball games a year, but even I get bored after 9 innings every once in a while. So we really try hard to make sure that it's 9 innings of fun for people that even aren't diehard baseball fans, that they can go and see the crazy on-field games, have kids, run around and do bungee poles and balloon toss and things like that, or just go on the Ferris wheel or, the bumper cars or anything along those lines and have a good time, despite what's going on the field. And if we win, it's great. Silver lining. So thankfully we've been doing a lot of winning lately too, so it makes my life easier.
And for those of you that have never been to a minor league ball game, it is great baseball. You're not talking like a bunch of amateurs out there running around and making a bunch of mistakes. These guys are just a few steps away from the major leagues. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them, we were talking before the show, how many major leaguers have made it out of the Quad City franchise?
No, and that, again, one of the really cool things about how historic and old the ballpark is, the ballpark was built in 1931. It's been there forever. We've had over, I think, a dozen affiliates, but just from the River Bandits alone, which was the early 90s and then back again in 2008, we just hit our 300th alumni last year. And I think that 300th alumni was Carlos Correa, who won the Rookie of the Year award last year. So we've got some phenomenal alumni. We've got a couple guys that have made it to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So, it really is, it's a lot of fun because these are future stars. These are the stars of tomorrow's Major League Baseball are playing in the Quad Cities today, whether it's on our team or one of the visiting teams that come through. The Midwest League, the league that we play in, 16 teams. So 16, Major League teams have their affiliates in our league. So that, that's almost, close to half of, an entire league. So you get a lot of prospects from the other teams, but then we've done a great job of getting all of our guys up to the major leagues and working their way up the ranks and getting to the major league level. When the Cardinals won the World Series a couple years ago, I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was 60% of their roster played in the Quad Cities at one point or another when we were a Cardinals affiliate. So it really is a lot of fun. And one of the really neat things, at least for the Astros side of the world, is that this is our 4th year with the Astros. So it usually takes 3 or 4 years for players to work their way up from the Quad Cities to the Major League level. So we are low A. There's a high A team for the Astros in Lancaster, California. There's a double A team in Corpus Christi, Texas, and then a triple A team in Fresno, California. So we're kind of in the middle of the ladder, so to speak, when it comes to the trip to the major leagues. Most of our players are, if they went to high school, they're maybe a year out of high school, or they're 2 years out of, or they're right out of college, depending on how old they are. Or for a lot of guys, if they're not drafted and they're not from the United States, this is their first stop in the United States altogether. So it really is, it's kind of neat when you've got guys that have grown up somewhere in Venezuela or the Dominican Republic, have only stepped foot at the spring training facility in Florida, where it's almost kind of like a dorm college-style campus. Then they come to Davenport, Iowa, and they're wide-eyed. Their English may be a little bit broken. They're, part of the neat thing about the Astros is they have English classes for all of our players, so they're learning that. So there's so much more to it than just hitting a curveball or stealing a base or anything like that. They're learning culture, how to have a power bill, how to have a cable bill, what a security deposit is, all of those things. So most of our guys, they're really young, they're working their way up the ladder, but they're phenomenally talented. Right now we've got a first-round pick on our roster who was, I believe, Kyle Tucker. I think he was the 4th or 5th overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. And his brother currently is in the major leagues. He's a future star. So usually every year we've got 2 or 3 guys that are going to be superstars. But one of the really neat things about minor league baseball is you also never know that backup outfielder might hit a growth spurt or might, tweak his game a little bit and all of a sudden, get to the major leagues. So our guys are really not that far away from the major leagues. Last year we had 4 or 5 guys that were former River Bandits make their major league debut with the Houston Astros. Right now, I think 6 or 7 guys currently on their roster were former River Bandits in 2013 or 2014. So it's been really fun to watch, and we're just fortunate that the Astros have been so good at giving us some talented players.
And how much longer do you have your contract with the Astros?
Mm-hmm. So our contract, the minor league baseball, the whole affiliation shuffles, I find interesting. Some people might fall asleep on the radio while I talk about it, but you either sign 2 or 4 year agreements. And the neat thing about minor league baseball is, Davenport, for example, the Quad Cities, we are guaranteed to always have a team. If you were a multi-billionaire and you just said, I want to put a team in, Dubuque that doesn't have a team, you couldn't just build another team because there's only so many, affiliations available for teams. You'd have to buy another team and move it. So we're always guaranteed to have a major league affiliate, but it actually becomes our choice of who we want to bring into the Quad Cities. And we're fortunate we've got such a great venue and such a great facility that for the most part we get our pick of the litter. So we've got our agreement with the Astros runs out at the end of this season. We signed a 2-year deal 2 years ago. So we should be hopefully announcing pretty soon our intentions of what we want to do, but we're grateful. The Astros have been amazing partners to us. We look for a lot of things in a major league affiliate. We want a successful team, winning team. That makes our lives a lot easier when the team is good, and we've got, we can kind of market and showcase those superstars like we had with Carlos Correa or Lance McCullers. And then also we want a team that really supports the players in the community. Some teams, their philosophies are, we're building ball players, not public speakers. That's great, but we kind of want the reverse, of that. We want players and a major league team that encourages their players to go out and visit, youth camps and instruct baseball and go visit, senior homes and just really kind of become part of the community while they're here. They're not here for a long time. Most players, they're here for a season and then they're gone at the most. So they really want, we really want to find players that are willing to, take that time and really become part of this community and kind of have a lasting effect on the community. One of the stories I really love to tell, when we were a Cardinals affiliate, Colton Wong lived with a host family here, and that host family is basically a family that's willing to open their doors and invite a player to live with them during the baseball season. And that family still is in really, really close contact with Colton. They go down to the Cardinals games 2 or 3 times a year. He's happy to give them tickets, or they go to Cardinals Fest or things like that. So those are the stories I really love, how a player that was only here for, realistically, the baseball season's only 6 months. A player that was here for 6 months still has roots in this community 4 or 5 years later and still has an impact on this community. And those are the stories that I really love to hear. And that's what we really look for, is just a team that really wants to be a part of the Quad Cities, loves the Quad Cities, sees the value in all of the people and the resources that this community offers. And, that's always what we're looking for. But, like I said, the Astros have been great to work for, and, we'll see where we go at the end of the season.
Well, and you were talking about Colton Wong, and he was been an integral part of the Cardinals here for a few years now. But and the host family, the movie Sugar, for those, most people probably remember that. It's a movie that was not a blockbuster by any means, but it was definitely a mainstream film. It was all about minor league baseball. It was all about I believe it was a Dominican-born player that came, was put up at a host family. And what you may or may not realize out there listening, that was filmed at John O'Donnell Stadium. So if you've never seen the movie Sugar, definitely get out and go rent that movie or go buy that movie, because you'll see a lot of things, a lot of scenes from the airport, a lot of scenes from John O'Donnell. And then once you see that movie, make sure you head out to, and give you a quick plug, the Minor League Park of the Year. Yep,
absolutely. Yep, and it's a really neat movie. So this is my 12th year in minor league baseball. I started as an intern picking up trash after games and have worked my way up ever since. But when I first accepted the job to be assistant general manager out here in the Quad Cities, I found a way to acquire the movie Sugar, because it's hard to find. But I sat down and watched it, and it really is a good story. A lot of the players, what people, again, they don't, they think they see these superstars on TV and they think all of a sudden they they were just, born into, being able to speak fluent English and understanding culture. But for the most part, a lot of our players are, our first baseman at the end of the season last year, for example, was 17 years old, born in the Dominican Republic, had spent a month and a half in Florida in their spring training facility, which again is kind of like a protected dormitory style area, then sent to Iowa. Spoke very little English, and really, it's about overcoming, just being dropped in a new area, in a new place, in a new culture you don't understand, and trying to be successful and not just learn the game of baseball, but learn American culture and, how to go to a restaurant and order food and, when the, your waitress isn't bilingual. So it's really interesting. And, we really try our best to, put our best foot forward and show them how great the Quad Cities community can be. And thankfully, the people of the area really help us do that. But, no, it's definitely fun. And we've got, you mentioned kind of our award that we won. One of the great things about the ballpark that I love is just how historic and how unique and how much of a beautiful, picturesque area it is. And we've been we've been very fortunate. The staff works really hard, but we won USA Today, I think it was 2013, named us the best minor league ballpark in the country. Last year, we were named the best ballpark in all of A-ball by Ballpark Digest. So every year, these new awards kind of come out, just showcasing how great the community is. Our logo won best logo in all of A-ball a couple years ago. So again, it's just... It's not, don't get me wrong, it's great to have a feather in our cap to do this, but we really love it just because it, gives the Quad Cities and gives, people in this region something to be proud of, and tell them, again, it's nice to get national recognition, for a venue that you have, that it's the region's venue. People have been coming from all over this area to John O'Donnell and Ronald Woodman Park for almost a century at this point. So it's a lot of fun. We actually, I think it's our 85th anniversary of the ballpark this year, and we're doing a replica ballpark giveaway in a couple weeks. So we've kind of been celebrating that all season with just kind of showcasing the history of the area, the history of the ballpark, the impact the ballpark's had on downtown Davenport and throughout the community. So it's been a fun season, and we're looking forward to another 85 years.
And it's, again, if you've never been out there, make sure you go out there. And like what Andrew said, you may not even like baseball, but you go out and you can enjoy yourself, bring the family. Numerous things to do, lots of stuff that the family can see or do. And like he said, you may come away and not even remember the score of the game because you didn't even pay attention. But you also got great baseball on top of it. We're going to be right back. We're going to play a song and make sure our sponsors get their notice.
Got to pay the bills.
Got to pay the bills, exactly. All right, and we have those professionals on today between the John Deere Classic, and Andrew Chesser is the GM of the Quad City River Bandits and Bandits. What's the difference between, let's say, a Theo Epstein in Chicago and an Andrew Chesser in the Quad Cities?
Well, it's funny. I'd say it's about as different as our jobs. And that's kind of one of the common misconceptions I get a lot is people say, oh, what is your goal to make it to the major leagues or work your way up, and work to the major leagues? But really the only kind of similarity I have with Theo or, Dave Dombrowski in Boston is that my title is the same for a Major League Baseball team as their for a Major League Baseball team as general manager. Their world is all about building the rosters, building the entire farm system, trading, drafting, signing players, doing all that stuff. For the most part, my job is all business related. Our relationship with the Astros or any Major League affiliate is basically that they will assign us the players they want to assign us. They will dictate when those players are either called up, promoted, released, or anything along those lines. We actually have no say over it whatsoever. And again, that's kind of why we go into the Ferris wheel and all our on-field games, because we have no control over the roster. We just can't control it. It is really no different than the weather for us. So really my job is, it's to just make the ballpark as, friendly and nice and clean as possible and make sure that our staff does a good job, with our community relations department. We've got about 30 full-time staff members that are with the ballpark year-round. We don't actually take the off-season off. On game days, our entire staff were there from about 9 a.m. till midnight. So it's a lot of hours. But in the off season, we switch to more of a 9-to-5 role and do planning. But yeah, my job really is just to oversee all of our departments. We've got everything from media relations to community relations to promotions to the box office. We've got an entire amusements division that oversees all of our, I think we're up to 9 rides now. We've got a Ferris wheel, a zip line, bumper cars, bounce houses, a gyrosphere, a drop and twist, all of those rides we've got. So we've got an entire branch of our department that oversees those. We've got a special events department. They every year we do about 150 to 160 what we call non-baseball events, and those are weddings, high school reunions, college reunions, just using the venue as the facility as a venue for those types of events. So it's definitely, keeps me on my toes. It's a lot of hours, but it's a lot of fun too. Not everybody has they can say their office is the number one minor league ballpark in the country either. So,
exactly.
It's a lot of fun. But yeah, it is interesting. Again, a lot of people always say, oh, do you want to be the next general manager of the Cubs or the Cardinals or anything like that? And it is a totally different world, and my world is completely different. When it comes to the players in the ballpark and our affiliation and the relationship with the Astros, I'm more of just an ambassador for the Astros. I'm not an employee of the Astros. I'm not an employee of the city of Davenport. I'm an employee of Main Street Baseball, which is our branch. We've got 5 minor league baseball teams across the country, including Quad Cities. Really, I just I'm a liaison with the Astros and make sure that, my goal is that their players have, as easy and seamless transition of a time here as possible. Whether that's their housing, whether that's their transportation, whether that's their, the facilities, the batting cages, the field, the playing surface, the clubhouse, our clubhouse manager, all of those things. It's really my job just to make sure that everything runs smoothly and, there's no issues. And if there's a little fire, it gets put out pretty quickly. So that's the fun part about it. But it is a great job, as I mentioned. Minor league baseball is really the only thing I've known. This is my 13th season in minor league baseball. I spent 9 years with a smaller market in Lynchburg, Virginia before I came out here. And I was actually really happy when I came out here, we talked about the affiliation shuffle of having different major league teams. When we switched to the Astros in 2013, just by a random weird stroke of luck, that was my 5th major league affiliate to work for in the span of 5 years. And the team I was at before, we were a Pirates affiliate. The Pirates then bought a team down in Bradenton, Florida, so we became a Cincinnati Reds affiliate for 1 year. After that, we decided we wanted to change and went with the Atlanta Braves for 1 year. Then I moved out to the Quad Cities where we were a Cardinals affiliate my first year, and then the Astros affiliate after 1 year with the Cardinals. So I was just happy to have familiar faces at that point because it was difficult to start over every year. But really, that just kind of goes to show you the nature and the landscape of minor league baseball is that, there's always some changes going around, and, teams, usually trying to move their affiliations to different locations, and a lot of it's geographic. When the Cardinals left the Quad Cities to move to Peoria, it was all about, geographics and their TV contract, and they were able to turn Peoria into a Cardinals market, add that to their TV contract, and, that just kind of helped them at the major league level. So there's always a lot of behind the scenes moving and shaking going on, but it's a fun industry, and at the end of the day, we always know we're going to have a team, and we know we're going to give that team the best possible ballpark and community to be a part of.
Well, and I remember back when you were a Cardinals affiliate, and now, like you said, Peoria is a Cardinal affiliate. Do you see a spike in attendance when you have like rehab assignments? For instance, the Peoria Chiefs last week, I believe it was, they had Johnny Peralta, they had Moss, they had a ton of Cardinals that were on a rehab assignment and went through Peoria to get there.
No, rehabs are a lot of fun. It's actually interesting. That was one of the the Cardinals were great to work with. They're a great organization. And during the tenure of the Cardinals being in the Quad Cities, I believe only one rehabber came out. It was Mark Mulder when he pitched, which obviously very good rehab, so you can't complain. No. Yeah, absolutely. Rehabbers, it's kind of a twofold answer for that. One, yes, we definitely get a tick up in attendance. People want to see these superstars play in the Quad Cities. And two, we also feel that, look, I believe that Quad Cities is the best minor league community in the country, and I want to be able to showcase them, not only future stars, but current stars as well. We've actually, the Astros have been really great to us. I think we're at 5 major league rehabbers in the past 3 years with them. We had, the biggest name we had was George Springer, who is their center fielder now. He was with us, I want to say in 2014, came down for about a 3 or 4 game stint, and it was really great to have him. He was a really down-to-earth player, and it's just neat to see, kids that come out to the ballpark be able to get an autograph of a guy that's currently, fringe all-star, and a current Major League all-star. So it was really great to have him. We had an up-and-coming prospect of theirs, a guy named Jonathan Singleton, was here a couple years ago, who at that point, he had not made his Major League debut yet, but he was coming off of an extended absence from I think his AAA team, so he came to work his way back up the ranks, and I think he hit a home run ball that has not landed yet. He crushed one pretty well. I think it would have gone, over the Ferris wheel if the Ferris wheel had been there at that point. But no, it's a lot of fun. We get a great, uptick in attendance, and but it's also, as I said, it's fun to showcase the current superstars to the Quad Cities community and show them, show them something that otherwise they'd have to drive to St. Louis, they'd have to drive to Chicago for. So it really is a unique experience, and we love having them.
That's awesome. What, for marketing purposes, what do you have coming up for the rest of the season? I realize it's 14 games.
Yeah, it's crazy. It flies by. Our season. For those that don't know, it starts the first week in April, right around about a week after the Major League Baseball season starts, and then we actually end our last home game for the regular season is September 2nd. So we only have 14 home games left, which it's crazy. The summer has absolutely flown by, but we've got a lot coming up. It really is. We really try and always have something fun and active going on every night of the year. There's never a night where we just sit in our hands and say, all right, we'll worry about the Fridays and Saturdays. But, this weekend's very big. We've got, again, the Joe Madden bobblehead tonight. Tomorrow is actually Superhero Day. I think we've got 4 or 5 superheroes coming out, everything from Batman, Superman, I think the Green Lantern, the Green Arrow, the Flash, they're all coming out. Just as an appearance, no additional cost. People can come take their picture, try and beat up Superman. Just kidding, don't try and do that. See if you can outlift them or something along those lines. And then Sundays are fun all the time anyway. We call them Family Sundays. So every Sunday of the season, the entire team lines up in the outfield. They sign autographs right before the game. So again, you can come get the autographs of everybody on the team. We have what we call Bark in the Park, where everybody can bring their dog out to the game. After the game, we do Kids Run the Bases. So again, just a lot of family activities. So it's a lot of fun. And then on Tuesday of this week, we have our back to school night. So we're doing a notebook giveaway. So fans that want to start stocking up for back to school, I know it'll be here. I think some schools on the Illinois side have almost already started. So
no, Erie starts on the 10th or the 11th, which is next Thursday. It was
sooner,
Thursday.
Earlier every year. I think.
It does. Well, you get air conditioning in the schools. Next thing you know, it's
earlier and earlier.
Advertises all year round, but it's getting closer and closer to that. So.
But yeah, other than that, we've still got 14 games, but we've got a lot going on. We've got 3 more fireworks shows. We've got a beer stein giveaway. We've got a replica ballpark giveaway. As I mentioned before, we're celebrating the 85th anniversary of Modern Women Park, so that's part of our year-long celebration. So come on out and grab that. And a lot of good baseball, and we're in the hunt for the playoffs too. So come on out and check out the team, and hopefully push us to the playoffs. So we're really excited. I think we actually planned it out if we would be playing Clinton if we are able to clinch a second round playoff spot. I believe. I'm not 100% positive on that, but I think we'd be playing Clinton the second round. So we're really excited to be able to kind of have that. It's a nice rivalry to have, with a team so close to us. I actually believe minor league baseball, it's similar to Major League Baseball where it's very territorial. So I think between Quad Cities and Clinton, they're the 2 closest minor league teams in the entire country, with the least amount of miles between them. So it's nice to kind of have that natural rivalry between us and Clinton, and they do a great job with their ballpark there. And hopefully we'll be seeing them in the playoffs, and we can add another feather to our cap of being able to beat them and then expand, go on to the next round too.
There you go. We're right smack dab in the middle of both of you.
You are. So I'm working hard to win over some fans today. Definitely. I want a nice loud crowd cheering section if we end up playing them. So.
We can definitely do that and make sure that we get a contingent behind you guys. But it's been a wonder.
So John O'Donnell, yeah. So and that's again the history of the ballpark. It really is. I'm actually, and I'm a little different than most. I actually went to college. I went to a small liberal arts school in Virginia, very similar to St. Ambrose or Augustana, called Lynchburg College. I had a history degree. So it's really weird that I ended up working in sports. I also had a French minor, but a sports management minor as well, and that's how I ended up doing my internship. So the ballpark I worked at before was built in 1939. It was a WPA project in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I really never thought I would go to an older ballpark. And then when this job became available, obviously all I had to do was take one look at a picture of the ballpark with the Mississippi River and Centennial Bridge and decided, yeah, I'm in. I can go to work there every day. But the ballpark, it's got a really true, amazing, rich history where I believe it started as Municipal Stadium in 1931. And then I don't know the exact year, and our media relations guy is going to glare at me, but it became John O'Donnell Ballpark. And John O'Donnell was, from what I understand, a longtime sports writer for the Quad City Times, who really, I think was as beloved as, our current kind of longtime writer Bill Wundrum over at the Quad City Times, and just did monumental things for the sporting community in the Quad Cities and was there for a very, very long time. The Quad City Times, they're a great partner of ours. They've had, he covered the team for decades. Our current beat writer, Steve Batterson, covered the team for decades, so they've always been great, giving us some great exposure. But at one point in the ballpark's history, they named the ballpark after him. Once our ownership group bought the team, as with, the history of, major sports these days, we partnered with Modern Woodmen of America to do the naming rights of the ballpark, but John O'Donnell actually still has the naming rights to the press box, just because that was his world, that was his, his area. So we still have it, the John O'Donnell press box at Modern Woodmen Park, and it's just another great member of the community who just, went above and beyond and has kind of helped make the River Bandits and make the Quad Cities and make Modern Woodmen Park as unique and special as it is. And again, that's what's so neat about this area, is that there's so many great people in the history of the ballpark, so many great people that have worked so hard and contributed so much. One of the parts I love about this job is there's still about 3 or 4 former general managers of the team over the course of the years of the ballpark that still live in the Quad Cities, and I get a chance to talk with them and kind of figure out how things are different. Obviously, it's a totally different world now. When the ballpark was completely renovated in 2004, so I think they definitely think I got it kind of easy because I have an elevator and a groundskeeper that is there year round, and all those fun things, and a concessions manager that's there year round. A lot more resources than they had, but it really is neat, and I love being able to talk to people in the community who say, oh, I grew up playing Legion baseball games there, or oh, I remember going to Ambrose games there when they had a monster rally, which would give our groundskeeper a heart attack if I told him we were having one of those. Or hey, I went and saw presidential candidates speak at Modern Woodmen Park, which was John O'Donnell then, or I went to the Bryan Adams concert there. So it really is, it's so cool to have something that's been such a part of the community for so long.
Michael Nunn fight.
Yep, exactly. And to have so many people that have childhood memories there. I'll stop the stories there, because I hear a lot about Dime Beer Night too, and those stories usually aren't as family friendly. So I'll stop it at that one. It really is cool to just have such a ballpark that's so ingrained in the community, and we're really, I'm very lucky. It's a great job, and I like to say Mother Nature makes my job very easy because she gave us this amazing backdrop of the Mississippi River and the Centennial Bridge with some engineers, but then the community just being willing to support us and willing to come out, and people being willing to drive, whether it's 40 minutes from Erie or an hour from Galesburg or an hour from Iowa City, just being able to come out, enjoy a baseball game, and that's not something we take lightly. We definitely appreciate it, and we love having everybody out at the ballpark.
Well, and with Dyersville so close, the legend lives on. If you build it, they will come. Absolutely,
and that's another fun part of having history so close of Dyersville. We hopefully some of the residents of Erie were able to come out and check out. We had the Hall of Fame tour at our parking lot a couple of weeks ago, and that was actually a traveling exhibit that Cooperstown, where the Baseball Hall of Fame is, they built specifically to bring it out to markets throughout the country. Davenport was the very first people to get it, so it was awesome to be able to see, Jackie Robinson's hat or Babe Ruth's bat or Roberto Clemente's jersey, and just see that in the parking lot of the ballpark that we work in. It's a lot of fun. But actually, our groundskeeper went up to Dyersville yesterday. His family was in town, so he decided to make the pilgrimage and go up there. I told him it was the perfect time because the corn was the right height. So
you got to go up there when the corn's high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you just don't get the same feel of the movie.
Yep. Though I try every time I went in and out of the corn, I didn't fade away like the ghost did. I was really disappointed. But other than that, it was a great time.
Yeah,
but
and for those of you that have never been up there, now is the time to go to Dyersville and see Field of Dreams, because if you've never seen the movie, or if you have seen the movie, go up there, and then as soon as you get back, watch that movie, and it sends shivers up your spine, because it's a wonderful place. It really is. So anyway, we've got Lizzie Neal Band coming in here at 12:30, and they're going to be getting set up soon, so we're going to have to make room for them. But Andrew, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you taking your time to come to our small little town and fill us in on what's going on with the Quad City River Band now and in the future.
No, it's been a pleasure. I love it. It's nice to get out, and as I always say, I sometimes I hate saying the Quad Cities, because there's so much more than that. We're not just Davenport, Bettendorf, Rock Island, and Moline, or East Moline, or whoever you ask. That's what makes the area great, and that's what makes the ballpark so great, is that we've got so many great communities surrounding the Quad Cities as well that contribute to what we have going on, and we try our best to make sure that we're a fun family entertainment option for everybody, not just people in the Quad Cities. So it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll keep in touch and maybe find out some more stuff in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hi, it's Clark Mortensen from Mort's Sports Corner on Vintage Radio 105.5, sponsored by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Join us every Saturday from 10 to noon for one-on-one interviews and sports ranging from T-ball to the big leagues.